Hello everyone and welcome back to round 8 of season 2 of our F123 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend at the Spanish Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video from Monaco, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But yeah, today though, here in Barcelona, of course, we've had a couple more upgrades go onto the car as we head into the weekend, so we have now pushed back ahead of AlphaTauri once more. You can see there's quite a slow but staggered list all the way up right to the front of the field, so any upgrades now are going to be super important. Williams are dropping back ever so slightly there behind McLaren and Alpine over the last couple of weekends, but Haas as well still remaining and looking incredibly strong. Of course, yeah, we've done pretty well so far this campaign. 7th overall in the Drivers' Championship, 5th overall in the Constructors. You know, we're trying to battle it out against Alpine overall, but that being said, we do kind of have an arm behind our back. Tailport chair is really not delivering in the way I would have wanted there. Best of the rest for us. And he's in P20 currently, and that was only based on countback from last weekend's result. Of course, if you're new around here as well and you are enjoying the content, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed to the channel for daily F123 videos. My team every single day until we win that World Championship. But yeah, as we look towards Barcelona though this weekend, of course, the new and updated circuit might have to take some grid penalties at some point soon. We're using more and more engine components early on in the campaign. We should be okay with that. We're already onto our 3rd gearbox though of the season. But yeah, Barcelona last year was quite a tough test for us. I'm hoping this weekend we can try and keep our point streak alive. Well, I remember last season here in Barcelona, of course, really I'm enjoying the new version of the venue, but definitely took the setup the wrong way last season. Ran far too little wing, even I should say, over the course of the weekend. So I've immediately tried to go with a much more higher downforce concept. I think we're running like 38, 36 wing here. Of course, here don't have many high downforce circuits than Barcelona, apart from, of course, with the obvious exception of last weekend's Monaco Grand Prix. But, you know, without that final sector being as tight and technical as it is, it kind of feels like you don't need as much wing, but I can assure you, you probably do. Difference as we make our way into Sector 3 there, a little bit of a compromise line as we head in. We know this final sector now is a very different, but still very good challenge. And the final corner, you know, where you go down the one gear as you make your way through. Luckily, they've actually removed the sausage curb on the outside. That is not the line, though. I'm actually going to miss out on the target lap 1 because of it. And I think a good test at Barcelona is where the Campsa corner can still be taken flat. We're only early on in FP1, so that'll definitely be flat come qualifying. And through the final corner then up towards the line. We just cannot get the score where we need it at the moment. That is going to be under the delta that time, but worse on tyre wear. And that's going to basically ruin our final run as well. Yep, Lando Norris gets in the way, and that's been a bit of a disaster. Right, well, race sim run then up next, and hopefully we can actually try and pick up some R&D. I remember last season here it was incredibly difficult to try and get the score that we needed, so yeah, maybe Barcelona just one of those tracks that is very difficult. It's not a track that I've ever really gelled with as well in Formula 1 cars. I really hope the new layout was going to help me out a lot, but yeah, it's a track that I've never felt quick at, which is a shame. Only a blender throttle that time round. I do wonder whether if you get up towards a maxed out car on F123, whether those final couple of turns are going to be completely flat. It would probably be a maxed out car with a lot of downforce, but that could be a very exciting prospect later on in the game cycle. We are barely scraping the delta needed to try and make sure we're getting these purple scores. So yeah, Barcelona, definitely a tough track for R&D, but one more lap needed left. I'm amazed at top end speed we're still getting on the run back down towards turn 1. 210 miles an hour around here seems absolutely crazy. And through the final corner then, brave at that final turn. That's going to be a purple score, so a bit more reassuring then as we come to the end of free practice, but a lot of work still yet to do. We've got to try and make sure we nail our quali laps. qualifying Saturday then. There is a threat of rain looming around the venue, but that being said, we've got to try and get on with it here. Really not sure where we might find ourselves qualifying the car today. It would not surprise me if we make Q3. It also would not surprise me if we end up out in Q1. Teo Porcher, only good enough for P20 at the moment. So, I mean, I don't think he's out-qualified me. He must have out-qualified me once this season, I think. I think we qualified last somewhere, didn't I? But, yeah, he's really not had the best run of it on Saturdays. I don't know what's wrong with Teo Porcher, but, yeah, maybe he won't make it past the mid-season contract negotiations. Anyway, we've got other things to worry about at the moment. Let's try and just make sure we get our lap nailed and that we go quicker than him. Right, moment of truth. Is Campsa flat? Yes, easy flat there. We didn't even hit the apex. And it was still completely flat out there. I mean, this track is still such a roller coaster. When you get it nailed, 700s up on Yuki Tsunoda at the moment is not reassuring, though, to be honest. Especially when I think the AI are often quite strong through this final sector. 2 more corners to go. Up into 7th gear. Down into 6th gear there. Oh, we met with the curb way too early. Horrible line through the final corner. Up towards the line in 11.9. And that's only good enough for P17 after the first run. That is disappointing. Got a minute left on the clock. Everyone heading out for their second runs. And we do need an improvement here if we want to make it back into Q2. I think, actually, we've only been out in Q1 in Miami and in Azerbaijan. I think it was just in Baku. Yeah, no, Baku we did qualify last, didn't we? Completely took the setup the wrong way that weekend on a track where the AI are incredibly strong, but we need to find a good few tenths of a second. We know how much the AI can improve here right towards the end of their qualifying runs, so I mean, we're just going to have to go full send here and pray that the car sticks. At the moment, as we come towards the end of Sector 2, half a tenth down. Very, very brave on the brakes there, but that's going to compromise my run as we head in towards the final 3 corners of the lap. 3 very, very big corners where a lot can go wrong, though. Destroy the braking boards. Open up the circuit width as much as possible. Avoid the bump on the inside through the final corner. We aren't going to improve. It's P19 on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix there. That is devastating. Well, there we go. Charles Leclerc fastest onto the 10.7 there. That is ridiculously quick around this Barcelona circuit. But we were less than a tenth away from making it into Q2 there. I mean, the time's looking so tight from Oscar Piastri down to Teo Porcher there. 0.2 of a second from 14th to 21st, but we didn't get the time we needed. We did, like I said, only need a 10th of a second to make it through. But P19 on the grid then here in Barcelona. We've got to go on a fight back.
Welcome along, everyone, to sunny Spain, specifically to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. So many great moments in Formula One history have been written at this very track over the years, including Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari back in '96. That win was in the rain. We might have better weather here today, but we're just as overjoyed to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap time and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, and it hasn't been used since 2007. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Russell, Verstappen, Hamilton, Perez, Norris, Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, Stroll, Gasly, De Vries, Bottas, Albon, Liam Lawson, Sargent, Tsunoda, Mr. Monaco, Teo Porcher, Ocon, Joe, and Nico Hülkenberg rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And a warm welcome to Natalie Pinkham, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Let's talk about Mr. Monaco. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within the team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do. And that has definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Okay, we've got that relief of having points on the board finally, so let's keep that form up and get another top 10 finish today, please.
Well, 3 P4 finishes in a row apparently isn't good enough for Mark still, but yeah, today we have got to try and push on there. 33 laps around the Spanish Grand Prix circuit. It's going to be a tough old test. I don't know why they put so much extra fuel into the car, but I'm a little bit worried about how fuel usage is going to be today. Looks like pretty much everyone is going to be starting on a set of the soft compound tyres. It's whether you go mediums or hards later on in the day. But rain in Q3 has left us with a Ferrari front row lockout, a few penalties further back, Ocon and Nico Hulkenberg, but I want points. Right, well, we are going to need a bit of a miracle today, or a well-timed safety car, if we want to try and get back up into the points, or maybe, just maybe, we could get a red flag. We've had 4 red flags so far in the opening 7 races, a lot of those courtesy to Imola a couple of weekends ago, but lining up purple then on the grid. Teo Porcher right alongside me once again. Ferrari front row lockout, they want to try and claw back the gap to Red Bull. 5 red lights though here in Barcelona. Lights out and away we go. Oh, Bottas hasn't gone anywhere. Saw that just a couple of rows in front of me, and that's going to be helpful for us as we head down towards turn 1. Nick de Vries, Alex Albon going side by side as here comes Esteban Ocon. Absolutely romping in towards that first corner there. Was worried just for a moment that I was going to go back into the back of Logan Sargent, but we've all made it through without any major issues. Bottas on a bit of a fight back after his bad start there, so we're going to try and get to the inside of the Alfa Romeo and down the inside of Logan Sargent, then almost into the back of Liam Lawson there as Piastri and Gasly side by side just a little bit further up the road. But yeah, this has all been quite a dramatic start then to the Grand Prix. Looks like both Mercs have been taken by the Red Bulls there, so clearly not the start they would have wanted, as Stroll now side by side with Piastri back up the hill. Looks like the Alpine of Gasly has been able to break free slightly there as big blender throttle on lap 1. Bottas now thinks about going for a move to the inside, but we force him out of that one as Piastri still a little bit all over the road, battling out with, of course, the driver he replaced down at Aston Martin. Can we find some room around the outside of Lawson? Not quite there. And again, Bottas still trying to sense opportunity. 3 places gained, though, on the opening lap. That seems to be my common number inside F1 23, so I guess we've got to assume now that if I don't make 3 places up, it's been a bad start on this game. But Bottas, no, he hasn't actually got much more top-end speed than me. He used a lot of battery, though, as we head back down towards Turn 1. But we've survived the start. That's important, and the points are right there. We're trying to make sure we're being very careful. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, being very, very careful that we don't take too much out of the tyres early on. But Lawson and de Vries, they're going side by side, might allow the cars in front of them to get out of the DRS range. I think Alex Albon, the car trying to hang on to the coattails of the gaggle in front. But I remember we had quite a lot of battles here with Nick de Vries last season, so maybe we're going to get round 2 of that. But yeah, really trying not to work the rubber too hard. Got to ease it in. Here goes Lawson again then, round 2 against Nick de Vries as we head back down in towards Turn 1. He's got DRS to help him out that time, and the McLaren not willing to give up on it. And how can we get involved in this scenario? Oh, that was scary. I wanted to try and switch Liam Lawson off the corner, but he blended out of the throttle just at the wrong time. We have gone clean around the outside of him round Turn 3 though still, so a pretty brave and audacious move. But yeah, I was planning on trying to get underneath, and just a little bit of wheel banging at about 140 miles an hour was not quite what we wanted. Get out the battery early then. I do not want to be stuck behind Nick de Vries this afternoon, and hopefully with this kind of straight line speed we're not going to be there to the outside of the McLaren. Take as much slipstream as we can, and we'll swoop round him then back at Turn 1. A little bit of understeer there. Stroll on mediums, that's interesting to know. But we're up into P13 then, unlucky for some, hopefully not me. As here goes Nick de Vries again. This is not what we need, but clearly the Dutchman wants to battle everyone early on today. Round the outside, we'll pinch him there as he's still looking for it. But we're through, we're up, but 3-second gap now to Albon in front. Yellow flag's out, someone's got issues. Could be a good time for a safety car for us. Oh no, it's Alex Albon in the Williams. Albon out of the Spanish Grand Prix very, very early on in the afternoon, and that is going to promote us into P12, but unfortunately, gap to the cars in front is opening up quite rapidly. Esteban Ocon now has moved up into P13, so I'm wondering whether it's going to be worth letting him by. But no safety car here, and more heartbreak for Alex Albon. That's second or third mechanical failure he's had this year. And here comes Esteban Ocon then. To be honest, I'm quite happy to let the Alpine by and see if he can try and carry me up to the cars in front. I want to just try and make sure we lose as little time as possible, though, as there goes Ocon down the inside at turn 1. We know just how quick that Alpine can be. Currently still best of the midfield in terms of the constructors. So Ocon, drag me with you. Well, Esteban Ocon is looking incredibly quick here, maybe even just a little bit too quick, as trying to hang on inside the DRS range of the Alpine. We've already taken close to a second out of those cars in front, so this is working out nicely for me. But yeah, we are struggling just to stay in the range. Seems like, I think Gasly, Piastri and Stroll are all having quite a ding-dong at the moment, which is helping us get a lot closer and even accelerate the pace that Ocon and I are closing in. Only a couple of laps away from the pit window as well, so we've got to bear that in mind. 1/3 distance here, and you know what? I was really not expecting us to be in a position to try and fight for points, and I know it is still only early on, well, in the afternoon. There is a nice kick of oversteer, but this is doing all right. Here goes Ocon, back down towards turn 1. You can see just how much battery we're using. We're trying to get right underneath him again at the end of the straight, so then we can afford to lose a bit more time around the rest of the lap. Probably not great for the tyres. No! So Ocon now is about to get a whole lot slower again, and now we need to try and jump him, but pray that those cars in front continue to battle. Looks like Stroll and Piastri are going to do so, but oh, that is so annoying. Ocon, it's been a valiant effort early on, but yeah, now we might see the time start to open up to the cars in front. Very lucky to get away with using that sausage curb. Normally that's a one-way ticket to the gravel trap, which I've found anyway off the corner. Maybe starting to get a bit too ragged as we get closer and closer to the pit window. Maybe the hards could do... Oh, actually, I want to go mediums though, don't I? I don't really want to use the hard tyres. If I can avoid it here, as Ocon struggling to put the power down. You can see now much, much closer to the Alpine car than we have been at any other point since I let him pass me. And already, as we get out onto the DRS straight, flying back past the Alpine. So it was a good effort by Esteban Ocon, but French reliability has dogged him. And now what I might try to do this afternoon is actually undercut to try and get a bit closer to those Haas and Aston Martins. I don't know what tyres Gasly's on or what his game plan is, but I reckon if we pit at the end of 14, surely we can try and take the mediums 19 laps to the checkered flag there, as we've already got Ocon out of the range. And oh, there we go, car's already pitting. They're going on to hards. That's good though. I honestly thought the team wanted us to go 1 or 2 laps further. There's Gasly there, about to lose a place to Oscar Piastri. Hopefully, if they go side by side, we'll gain even more time. End of lap 14, and we're going to dive into the pit lane then. Pierre Gasly just in front of me. Whoa, doing the same there, so we're not going to get the jump on him, unfortunately. But this pit lane entry now is so scary around Barcelona, as there goes Carlos Sainz. And unfortunately, Teo's joined me. Definitely going to lose himself a little bit of time doing that, but onto a set of mediums we're going to go then. And yeah, we definitely haven't gained any time on Pierre either. Just make sure we try and get away nicely. That's good. And unfortunately, you always lose a little bit of time on pit exit here in Barcelona, because you actually are a bit too close to pit lane exit, but it's still on autopilot as you head back out, which is frustrating. But yeah, we lost a bit of time to Lawson and Ocon, but Lawson just trying to get back within the DRS. We need to push for Stroll and Piastri. There we go, Oscar into the pit lane now. I can only assume one of the Haas cars has followed him in, so we've had a couple of laps to try and undercut on the Aston Martin. We definitely lost a bit of time through the pit lane to Oscar Piastri, so taking a lot... Sorry, out of this, Pierre Gasly even. I can't get the right drivers' names out. But I think we're going to still get the undercut on Piastri and Stroll. Yep, there they are, both on hard compound tyres as well, of course, because they started this race on the mediums. But for the first time today then, into the top 10 we go. I don't think sensibly there's going to be any more places we can gain, but if we can keep this gap up over the 1 second from Oscar, that could be really handy. Magnussen then, I think the last proper runner in this race peeling into the pit lane, or at least the last one I might have had a chance against. Looks like he's going to be out right with Pierre Gasly, so yeah, we're doing alright at the moment. Maybe if those two start battling, we could try and get a little bit closer, but more focused on the cars behind than the cars in front. Here comes Lance Stroll, and I don't think I'm really going to get much of a say on whether he gets the move done on me. Back down into 11th place we go. But if we can just try and stick with the Canadian. Yeah, Mark absolutely spot on. He's going to have better tyres towards the end of this race, but we are still on softer rubber than Sir Lance. We can definitely still fight. Well, into the final third then, and still hanging on nicely to Lance Stroll. It really has been a weekend of just trying to hang on so far, but felt like we've had a pretty decent, but actually quite realistic race as well here in Barcelona, which is quite good. Of course, a lot can still change in the dying stages, but yeah, just trying to hang close to Lance, and maybe, I mean, I don't think he's going to get up to Magnussen and Pierre unless they really start duking it out. But yeah, I feel like as long as we're within the 1 second zone, because of how powerful the DRS and the battery usage is inside F123, unless of course he tries to use it all at the same time, we should still be able to get a run on him back down towards turn 1. That being said though, as we do lines like that, we are absolutely not going to stay inside the DRS range there, and as we head through the final corner, we've lost it. Come on, let's go. I might have to try and use Oscar Piastri. As are we going to see the Aston Martin try and get a run on me. We're back within the range of Lance. There goes Oscar though, and we're down another spot. I've only gone and lost the battery, the DRS even to Oscar Piastri as well. This is becoming a bit of a nightmare late on. I just don't think the car's quick enough to do anything. Is Sargent and De Vries there, still waiting in the wings. Yeah, I've absolutely worked these medium tyres too hard. This is becoming a bit of a nightmare late on in the day. The only thing that can really save us now is probably a safety car. 2 seconds back from Oscar Piastri. Just definitely an aggressive tyre strategy. Sat in a lot of dirty air this afternoon. I know it's not as big of an issue with these new generation of Formula 1 cars, but it definitely still affects the wear. And we are sliding around all over the place. 9 laps to go. Whoa, that was scary. Another big kick of oversteer as we try and get the car through 1 and 2. Had quite a few little moments now as Piastri and Stroll were duking out in front, but yeah, we're definitely not going to close up on them, even if we got a safety car. They've already fallen away, Mark. This is a nightmare towards the end of the afternoon. Where has Sargent got this speed from as we make it up into turn 3? And the outside through turn 4, surely not by the young American. He's still going to be there. A lot of front locking as we try and head down the hill. No.
There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
Can't even rejoin. Car's in the way, and we have got a safety car. Oh dearie me.
Keep an eye on the delta. We need to keep it positive to avoid a penalty. Slow down, maintain positive delta.
Like I said, couldn't rejoin the circuit because there are other cars there, but not great. Late on in the day, we're bought on a set of soft compound tyres and try and see us through to the end, but yeah, what a disaster. To be honest, I was impressed we didn't actually lose a wheel then as well. That was kind of what I was scared of when I went into the wall at that angle, but yeah, we'll get a new front wing on. We'll get a fresh set of soft compound tyres. There goes the rest of the wing. But yeah, poor Chair and I, last and second to last then. This has been a nightmare, but we are going to have a few laps right at the end to try and recover anything possible. Right, well, here we are then, about to go green flag racing once more here from Catalonia, and effectively now we've got a 3-lap shootout. I'm on a fresh set of soft compound tyres, everyone else is on worn-out mediums or hards. I've kind of given myself a lifeline here, and if we score points from this, well, it's basically up there with Crash Gate, I'm sure many would argue, but hopefully we can try and put on a show nonetheless in these final few laps. It's one of the Red Bull cars leading then out of the final corner, and let's see immediately if we can try and go on the offensive then against our teammate Teo Porcher. P21, but where can we finish? Just trying to use some battery back in towards the first corner. Down the inside of my teammate. Well, God, I mean, surely we're going to have so much more grip than the AI. I don't get why the likes of Teo and Nico Hulkenberg didn't bother pitting towards the end of this one. Of course, they wouldn't have lost the place to me. Whoa, thought about trying to go down the inside of Hulk, but he wasn't having any of it there at the top of the hill. So you can see already putting a little bit of wear through these tyres down the inside, though, at the next corner. And this is just what we need to be doing, picking off cars one by one, because we have got such an advantage down the inside of Yuki. And that's what I mean. You never see overtakes there, but suddenly now we can. And I mean, if we can recover back to Sargent, then effectively we haven't lost, we haven't gained anything from this right towards the end of the afternoon. Can we get to the inside of Esteban? Yes, we can. And there we go. What's that? 4 places made up off this opening lap. Still definitely the potential for a little bit more there. Zhou Guanyu, Liam Lawson struggling up the hill. And they're on, yeah, old hard tyres that have done the better part of 20 laps. So as we get on the power so much earlier out of the final corner on Zhou Guanyu, he's going to still have the slipstream though of Liam Lawson. The Williams going to try and go defensive 3 wide as we head back down towards turn 1. And Lawson, whoa! I think he was trying to squeeze Zhou Guanyu there, realised I wasn't the fight to have. And it's a double overtake round the outside at turn 1. Oh, Bottas there, no grip as we head down the hill round the outside of the Alfa Romeo. Oh, contact that time. So I was expecting him to have a little bit more grip on the inside there, but back into P14 will now go then. And it was Nick de Vries that was going to be the next car behind me. Before, of course, I span. Now I'm the car right behind him as we try and head back up the hill. I mean, points are right there. This, I don't know ethically how I feel about this at the moment, but I guess you got to take your chances in Formula 1. All of the AI could have pit when I did, but of course none of them really wanted to lose track position late on in the day. A 7th gear able to hold it that time round out of the final corner to the inside of de Vries, and we are going to have DRS for the final lap here, back into P13, back to where we were before we made this mistake. But Pierre Gasly, Oscar Piastri right there in front of us, Magnussen as well just in front of them, but trying to use the last of our battery as we head up the hill. This was the car we were battling with when I span. Oh, and Sargent there not having any of it. He knows how much he wants to hang on to that P12. I can't blame him either. It's back down the hill we'll go. Can I try and get a run on the Aston Martin? We'll switch back to the inside. Similar move to what we did to Tsunoda. Yes, we will. And we're back into P12 then, late on in the day. This has been quite a crazy end to the Spanish Grand Prix. Never seen this much overtaking around the Barcelona venue, but I don't know which Red Bull it is at the front. Oh, way too late on the brakes there. Trying to have a look to the outside of Lance Stroll, and Logan Sargent will say thank you very much and swoop back through the final corner though. It is going to be, I'm going to guess, Max Verstappen who's going to take the win. Yes, it is the Dutchman back on top, and you know what? As we round that final corner, we recover to exactly where we were when we span. I think that's fair.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, they are very much at one with the car, which is a cliche, but it's true. It's not an easy process, and that work is very much paying off.
The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team. Now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. So then, Natalie Pinkham, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Miss Monaco. So much was thrown at them today, and yet they handled it with aplomb. It was so calm, it was so measured.
Red Bull, Mercedes, Ferrari, at the top of the table there. That late race safety car did provide us with a bit of drama, but like I said, I'm not sure ethically how I would have felt claiming points from a safety car that I caused there. But it is Max Verstappen at the top, ahead of Hamilton and Carlos Sainz there. Clearly, I'm running a system where I score points in 3 Grand Prix and then have one where I fail to score. So at least we know next weekend we're going to be back inside the top 10 there. Championship-wise, though, with that win, Verstappen 15 points clear at the top of the table. Carlos Sainz still brutally consistent there in P3 ahead of Russell and Hamilton, and Charles Leclerc in 6th ahead of myself. Piastri closes up slightly ahead of Ocon and Pierre Gasly there, and then further down the order, Lando Norris either scores really well or doesn't score at all, it appears, in this series. Constructors-wise, though, Alpine extend the gap slightly. Aston Martin now just 2 points behind us as Red Bull an 83-point lead at the top of the table. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure I leave a like. Get yourselves subscribed as well, and we will be back when Formula 1 returns. We'll be back in Montreal, Canada. That is always a race that delivers.